Hi Beats, it's EKG and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I would like to discuss the 5 books that I have read across my life that has drastically changed how I view the world. So if you would like to learn more about the books that I recommend you read, you can just keep on watching. Book that I want to start off with today is my all-time favorite book, which is The Alchemist. And this book is about a shepherd boy named Santiago who travels from Spain to find a treasure hidden in Egypt, and along the way he meets different people that will direct him along his path. What's really striking about this book is the way that it highlights how sometimes the treasures that we are looking for in our lives are hidden within us, and we have to dig deep inside to go to our natural talents, our natural gifts, in order to unearth that treasure. I recommend that everyone read The Alchemist. It takes you on an amazing journey and it's so rich and the storytelling is beautiful. I will admit that sometimes it does get a little, it's kind of slow at certain points, but once you hit the meat of the story and you listen to the wise tales from the people that Santiago encounters on his journey and how he almost gives up on his journey, and then what happens at the end, it's such a beautiful read. And the reason why this has changed my life so much is because I feel like every time that I'm feeling lost along this journey of life, I find myself wanting to reread this book, and it encourages you to listen to your gut and to really analyze and utilize your gifts in order to have the life that you want. And it also highlights the importance of having people and listening to people along your way. Like, it's not just a solo journey. Like, yes, your life is your life, but there are influential people and even places and environments that shape and mold your life and help you bring out your gifts, or either make you want to stifle them and make you want to live in fear. There's so many parallels in this book to actual life, and I feel like it is very easy as a human to get caught up in seeking worldly pleasures and worldly treasures, when really I believe I'm a spiritual person. I believe that we are placed on this earth to hone in on our gifts and to live the human experience and everything that comes with it, which is what Santiago does on his journey. So definitely check out this book, especially if you are feeling slightly lost and you need a little bit of encouragement to listen to your inner voice and your inner guide. The Alchemist, my #1 book. Love this one. Okay, so the next book that I want to talk about is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This book is another book that I read, and it really highlights the importance of living a life that is true to yourself. It is spiritually connected, kind of like The Alchemist is, in a sense that it analyzes the world. So I recommend The 4 Agreements. This book is a super light and easy read, but it has loads of wisdom in it. You can probably read this book in one sitting. I almost did. Don Miguel Ruiz goes into detail on the 4 agreements, and the 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. So the reason why I love this book is because it is a short guide almost, in the sense that it teaches you the importance of the words that come out of your mouth. If you have a tendency to speak negatively and you have the tendency to want to gossip, which we all do, we want to gossip, we want the tea, we want all the tea, we want to we can speak bad about someone if we're angry. The first agreement, it calls on you to control your word and be really impeccable and speak light and love onto people and onto your life. And the next one, which is, you gotta realize not to take things personally, okay? Sometimes it's people projecting their own fears and their own insecurities or their own angers and resentments onto you, and you have to realize that, okay, this person is saying that about me. I know that it is not true, and I'm not going to take it personal. I'm not going to allow their word to impact me. Don't make assumptions. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. Don't assume that people are going to view the world the same way that you do. Don't assume that people are going to respect the things that you respect and like the things that you like. This sounds very simple, but sometimes we do get caught up in thinking that people will treat you the way that you treat them, and that's a big assumption that a lot of people make. So that's why I definitely like that. And this book, always do your best. I mean, who doesn't need that little encouragement to always do your best? This is just a more broad take on The Alchemist. I highly recommend that you read this book. He makes it sound way more poetic and beautiful than I am right now. I'm just giving you a short synopsis, but like I said, this book literally has 100 pages, and this is what it looks like. It's a super quick read, but this is another highly recommended book that I have read, and so have some other people that I know, and they love it. The third book that has changed my life is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a This book kind of contradicts what I've been saying about, you know, like manifestation and living the life that you dream of and actively pursuing that life. And this book is really grounded in a harsh reality, which is also important to acknowledge. The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F touches upon the fact that sometimes bad crap happens, and sometimes there's nothing you can really do about it. Like, you can't predict it, you can't not manifest away these things. Sometimes you can't predict bad things happening. Sometimes you work so hard and you might not see the results that you want to see, and this is just reminding you of that reality, and it's encouraging you to not care too much. Like, there's a fine line, like you're dancing along this fine line of, obviously you want to care, you want to always do your best, you want to always listen to your gut and pursue the life that you want to pursue, but sometimes things don't work out the way that we plan, you know? And this book really highlights the importance of really not caring too much, to the point that it destroys you, if that makes sense. It's a lot about rejection in this book, and how to cope with rejection, how to cope when things in life aren't going the way that you envisioned, which happens in everyone's life, and how to use that to fuel yourself and to kind of not take life super seriously, if that makes sense. It says, we are always in the process of approaching truth and perfection without actually ever reaching truth or perfection. We shouldn't seek to find the ultimate right answer for ourselves, but rather we should seek to chip away at the ways that we're wrong today so that we can be a little less wrong tomorrow. I know some people are like, about that book, it does contradict itself sometimes, but I think it's important to read. I think it's just important to read. It kind of shakes the table a little bit, and that definitely changed my life, because I remember reading that and thinking like, wow, I have been reading that one perspective of like manifestation and self-help and just like seizing the life that you want, that it was kind of nice to have a perspective like, hey, sometimes you can't seize that life, okay? And then sometimes things that are not for you are not for you, and that just means that a better opportunity will open up for you. So don't just think so one-track minded. Try to look at life as a bigger picture, which I greatly appreciated. So another book that is changing my life currently, because I'm reading it, is Atomic Habits by James Clear. So Atomic Habits is saying that no matter your goals, Atomic Habits offers a proven framework for getting 1% better every day. And James Clear is one of the world's leading experts on habit formation, reveals practical strategies that will teach you exactly how to master the tiny behaviors that lead to remarkable results, which, once again, I love that. I have always been so focused on the bigger picture that sometimes day to day I'm not improving, if that makes sense. Like sometimes I get so overwhelmed with where I want to be that I am not implementing systems and changing the way that I view the world to achieve those goals. So Atomic Habits is really laying out the framework. It 100% does that. It breaks down how our brains work, the way that we form habits non-consciously, which is something that he talks a lot upon. And I love that because I love the psychology behind the human brain, like what makes a human, and how we develop these tendencies and these habits and ways that we can break them. And prime example for me, I love the internet. Clearly I'm on it. And sometimes I spend hours watching YouTube videos or just fooling around on the internet when I can be writing poems or writing a book or brainstorming an idea. So he talks a lot about changing your identity, setting up systems that will not cause you to fail, and instead of viewing a goal that is really broad, for example, I want to write more, he suggests that you say, I will write for 30 minutes during my lunch break every day. So that's a very concrete thing that you know how long you'll be doing it for, where you'll be doing it, and more specifically, I could say I want to write poetry and what I will be writing. So that's why I really like Atomic Habits. One critique about this book though, I will say, is that sometimes things are slightly intuitive. Like I know that if I want to take my vitamins every day, I will leave my vitamins out in the open, but some people don't know that. It's just slightly intuitive for me, some aspects, very minor aspects of this book. But otherwise, he offers solid scientific proof and how our brains are just wired in ways that we can manipulate those wirings to better improve our lives. And I love the idea of 1% every day, because it's not like I want to be 100% better at something. It's I want to take it day by day and build from there. Like in the long run, like yes, if I'm doing something for a week, that's only 7% better. But if I do that for 52 weeks out of the year, that is 365% better. I'm not a mathematician, if you know. If you watch my skincare video, you would see that. But yeah, I just love that idea. And I just love how James Clear really forces you to scale back on your very broad goals and look at habits and routines in your life and how you can manipulate or add into those routines to help improve yourself 100% every day. And he has a lot of interesting stories in here, a lot of science. There's graphs, there's tables that you can fill out to help you improve your life. This book is good at just encouraging you to change your life 1% every day, which does not sound hard at all. And over the course of time, it'll make a big difference. So definitely check out Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I have to mention a poetry book that changed my life. I probably talked about this poetry collection 3 times on my channel, and I posted about it on Instagram. But that is Life on Mars by Tracy K. Smith. And I mean, I just love this poetry collection. Like I really am thinking about rereading it, because if I could put myself into a poetry collection, it would be this. Like I said, you can check out, just check out this video. I won't go into too much detail. I know, what's the point of mentioning again in this video, but this poetry collection changed my life because I read it at a point of time where I was questioning my own style and voice and poetry and where I fit into that specific medium. Tracy K. Smith like kind of exposed the poetic parts of me that I didn't know were there, if that makes sense. I got so inspired from this collection. I wrote so many different poems. There's so many different ones. And here, I'll just read the first one that I read, and I was like, what? The weather in space. Is God being or pure force, the wind or what commands it? When our lives slow and we can hold all that we love, it sprawls in our laps like a gangly doll. When the storm kicks up and nothing is ours, we go chasing. After all, we're certain to lose, so alive, faces radiant with panic. So that was just the first poem, and I read that and it encapsulated everything that I feel about life. Title, The Weather in Space, like, I love outer space. This is a moon crescent. I have a moon crescent there. I don't know if these are valid reasons for me to love something this much, but I highly recommend this poetry collection. It's helped me find my voice, and it helped me be more experimental with my poetry, which is why this specific collection has changed my life, and that's why I made it to another video in my channel, because it rocks. And it was also super important for me at the time to read another Black modern woman poet, or contemporary. I would consider her contemporary, I suppose, which was awesome. She's like my role model, so of course I had to incorporate life on Mars. And I'm kind of jealous because I wish I thought of this title first. But I just love everything about this collection, and it's solar, it's cosmic, it's grounded in earth, it's love, it's loss, it is being, it is pondering, if that makes sense. And I highly recommend that you check this out. So thank you for making it to the end of this video. Hopefully you check out the books that I mentioned and they impact your life in the way that they have impacted mine. And make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.
And I was like, yo.